college football feels rejuvenated, and not just because the SEC got their teeth kicked in on every front in the big high-profile games. Yes, the Georgia Bulldogs won and they roll, but nobody cares about them. They were going to destroy Clemson, which is a disaster right now. But in 3 big-time matchups, the SEC got destroyed. And folks, you never want to overreact. It's just one data point. It's week 1. Hey, it's early. It's early. Long season, marathon, not a sprint. But the SEC looked very meek in 3 huge games, including last night, LSU losing to USC. Obviously, you had Notre Dame and Texas A&M and Miami and Florida. And the SEC just came up empty in all those games. I think, and again, you never want to overreact, but it feels like the SEC dominance. They had, before Michigan won the title last year, the SEC had won 6 of the last 8 national championships. And the other 2 were by Clemson, which is, buried in SEC country, might as well be the SEC. But it feels like that grip is loosening. And we saw it last year with Michigan. Remember, they beat Alabama in a classic semifinal game. And now this year, SEC kind of stubbing its toe to start the season. But sports are cyclical, right? When I was growing up, my New York Yankees, Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly, they were awful. Total disaster. And then Derek Jeter shows up, and my Yankees win 4 World Series in 5 years. Really nice run. We just saw the New England Patriots have essentially an unprecedented 2-decade run in the NFL, winning Super Bowls left and right. Patriots are going to be the worst team in the NFL this year, folks. Yeah, you could start betting against them now. And I don't see any end in sight. Sports are cyclical. Remember the Buffalo Bills? They go to 4 Super Bowls in a row. Sorry, guys, lost all of them. They haven't been back since. You could argue maybe they sniffed it once or twice, but sports really run in cycles, and the SEC's dominant run, you have to wonder, some of these market forces start shifting, right? You got the transfer portal, which is getting wild, okay? You got the NIL money flowing all over the place, and then you got the 12-team playoff coming up. And you start to look at all these things, and you're like, well, hey, in the NFL, if you're hot at the end of the season, you're a wild card team, maybe you start cooking and you take down a big dog, a number 1 or a number 2 seed. That's going to happen in the college football playoff. I know everybody's got Georgia and Alabama. They're fine, Jay. They're ticketed for the playoff. Probably. But what we're seeing in college football, and especially what we saw this past weekend, it feels like the market is kind of shifting away from the SEC. I'm not ready to declare the Big Ten ready to dominate, but I don't know that the SEC is going to continue it. And let's quickly look at the games from the weekend. First of all, you had Notre Dame, which went with its transfer portal quarterback, right? Riley Leonard. They got him out of the portal. Dabo Swinney, pay attention. Play close attention. Notre Dame goes into Kyle Field, right? 100,000 fans going crazy, bonkers situation. And Notre Dame pulls it out in the 4th quarter. Right? They were underdogs in the game, and Notre Dame topples Texas A&M. Not a lot of people had that. By the way, I was on Notre Dame. Buddy on my men's basketball team played quarterback there. Another good friend of mine played soccer at Notre Dame. So I'm a Notre Dame fan. And I know people aren't going to love to hear this, but isn't college football just a little bit better when Notre Dame is good and contending? Just a little bit? And historically, they've struggled. Remember, they step up in class in the Natty against Alabama, and they lose by like 1 billion. Like, it happens against the SEC, but maybe not anymore. So that Notre Dame game was significant. I thought it was a great win for the Irish. Well, and then let's look at the next one, the LSU-USC game. Okay, that game was start to finish just wild. I mean, 800-plus yards of total offense. And USC, remember, the defense got destroyed last year in every facet. It was embarrassing. 5 starters from the transfer portal yesterday for USC. 5. You can bring in half your defense, essentially, from the portal and hold LSU to 20 points. Remember, this is LSU. I know they lost Jaden Daniels, and they lost a couple star receivers. But to hold LSU to 20 points, kind of sort of impressive. I'm not ready to say the USC defense is back. But when they can leave Brian Kelly fuming, who among us didn't pound the table over the weekend? I was very upset. I backed Ohio State. 48.5-point favorites. They win by 45. Damn it, Ohio State. But Brian Kelly, very fired up. And folks, you watch USC. I wasn't sold. I know Cowherd's going to come in here pumping his chest tomorrow about USC and this kid Moss. He delivered when it mattered most. I mean, big-time drives in the 4th quarter. USC, I don't know that they're definitely a playoff team, but that win certainly will go a long way to the playoff. But my favorite win of the weekend over the SEC belongs to the Miami Hurricanes. During the off week last week, show was dark. And I decided to sign up for a gambling contest I've done for a bunch of years. And, I pay out if you happen to win is big, big money. But also you look at side bets. And one of the side bets that I love is the 49ers under win total this year. And you guys know I'm a 49ers fan because I like the Brock Purdy story. But this is not shaping up to be a great year for San Francisco, okay? One-way traffic on the under win total. Every pro bettor is on the San Francisco 49ers under. And why is that? Well, the offseason's been kind of junky. I mean, Trent Williams, as of right now, still not signed. Maybe the best left tackle in the game. Brock Purdy's blind side, and he's still not signed. And I know everybody was elated that Brandon Aiyuk was signed by the Niners last week. It ended, I think the New York Times said, it was less of a contract negotiation and more of a 15-round heavyweight fight. I mean, from the moment the Super Bowl ended, essentially Aiyuk's squad, his family, whoever it was in his team was putting out stuff like he needs to get paid on social media. And then he scrubbed his social media and he's like, I'm not showing up. It was just ugly all summer. It's like, dude, you were just an all-pro. You guys almost won the Super Bowl, lost in overtime. Should have won the game. And you're unhappy about money? And then this is where it gets really ugly. So Aiyuk signs last week and everybody's like, yes, we got him back. All these jabronis who said he was going to the Steelers, not happening. Maybe he'd use the Steelers as leverage. But then you look at the details. So on paper, the contract is 4 years, $120 million, 76 mil guaranteed. You're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Wow, 76 million guaranteed. Even if you want to say crazy California taxes, take out 40%, fine. Take out, 7% for the agent. Go ahead, take 50% off for agent, manager, whatever, and California taxes. You're still looking at 76 divided by 2. What are we looking at? $38 million guaranteed for Brandon Aiyuk for signing. 38 mil. That's take home. That's generational wealth. And then the details come out. Wait a minute. This is the same deal that was sitting on the table for 2.5 weeks that Aiyuk didn't want to sign. Like, what? And then, depending on who you read in San Francisco, some of the beat reporters were saying, hey, the 49ers were sick and tired of Brandon Aiyuk's nonsense, that they told him, we're going to start fining you. And usually the team can rescind the fines once the deal's inked. And it's like, hey, no problem. We get it. Apparently the 49ers are saying, we're fining and we're not taking these back. This deal's on the table. It's been here for 2.5 weeks. Sign or start. We're going to start fining you. And that's when Aiyuk allegedly called his agent and was like, okay, yeah, let's do this deal. Now, Aiyuk's agent tried to refute a little of that, but didn't, and tried to make a joke out of it. Like he was defending his guy, which is what he's got to do. But I'm telling you, it got ugly. I know San Francisco is excited that they have him back, but imagine dealing with this crap for 5 months from one of your stars. And we know he's not a leader on the team. The leaders of the Niners are Trent Williams, who's still not there, and Deebo Samuel. And I will never forget last season when I knew the Niners were legit. They went to Jacksonville, okay? And they were coming out of the tunnel before the game. And I have this video saved on my phone. I love it so much. And they come out of the tunnel dancing. I think they had a bye week the week before. They come out with Trent Williams. They had added Chase Young and Deebo Samuel. And they come out dancing, and they looked like, oh my gosh, these guys are going to, and they murdered Jacksonville 34-3. And they went on an absolute tear after that. But the alphas on that team leading out of the tunnel, the guys leading on the field were Trent Williams and Deebo. Brandon Aiyuk's not one of those guys. And for him to pull this junk all summer, I'm sure it will be quickly forgotten once he starts making plays. But that the lingering impact of that is the stench is going to be there. And folks, there's a world where this Niners team, playing a first-place schedule, having been to the NFC title game 4 times in 5 years, how often do we see just some regression, some wear and tear? We see this in the NBA all the time, guys. All the time. The Detroit Pistons I think they went to 2 or 3 NBA finals in a row, and then Michael Jordan's Bulls finally destroyed them, and everybody's like, Jordan, the Bulls, they're here. It's not really how it worked. The Pistons were drained. When you play a long regular season and then a long postseason back to back to back, it's like you got nothing left in the tank. And the Pistons they were done. They were cooked. And part of me wonders if the Niners are there. Remember, The great safety Hufanga, he ain't going to start the season. Looks like he's probably not going to be there for a little bit, coming off the major injury. And then you got Greenlaw coming off the Achilles from the Super Bowl, just jogging on the field. They're hoping he's back for January, maybe December. And you start to look, damn, that's 2 leaders on the defense? Huh. Brock Purdy? Is there going to be pressure on Brock Purdy?
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.